It's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, it's Ivy Slater with another episode of Her Success Story. And welcome, listeners. We have an amazing woman that we're interviewing today. Her name is Lynthia Romney. She is president of RomneyCom, and RomneyCom is a full-service communications firm. Lynthia works with leading corporations and national nonprofits to help them develop and deliver their key messages powerfully to internal and external audiences. It might sound like a lot, but here are some of the places she has touched. She has worked with Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Thomson Reuters, College of Savings Foundations. For the women out here, you have to know this. Lynthia has worked with the Women Business Enterprise National Council for years. She has such knowledge on women businesses that I've had the pleasure of not just like meeting her over this interview, but having coffee with her, meeting her at different things. And the conversation is always lively, and I'm always at the edge of my seat when she's imparting her brilliance. So Lynthia, thank you. And thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Ivy. That is a really lovely introduction. And I think that when I've heard you speak or heard your tips on success, I think, I'm really on the same page with you in so many items. I really love your approach. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So first, I always like to, and I advise my clients to do the same, like to reintroduce myself and just establish who I am. I'm Lynthia Romney, president of RomneyCom, which is a full-service public relations firm specializing in leadership visibility for our clients. So what this means is we really help our clients, articulate who they are, who they serve, and what makes them different, and get those messages out to reach the audiences that are most important to them. And that could be customers, prospects, potential partners, and it can also be their own internal staff. So I really enjoy doing this, and I'm delighted to chat with you now.
I am so excited to have you here. And you have reached so many people and you have made such an impact. So I guess my first question here is, people who have achieved a lot and everybody has their own measures of success and what success means. But in getting started, we don't wake up out of the womb. I remember like my kids wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be a dancer. And now we're doing all these other things. And then we graduate college and we think we're going to do this and that. And how in the world did you start and build and know this was your thing?
That's a really great question. Actually, I always wanted to be a writer. So that was from the beginning, not out of the womb, but certainly at 5 or 6, creating stories and illustrating them. So that was sort of the bedrock of my interest. But what really evolved over time, my journey went in a couple different directions, but it did ultimately lead to this really satisfying place. And the two key points in time where I started out as a journalist and was covering Wall Street. And ultimately, I went to Merrill Lynch and worked in institutional equity sales and then ultimately PR there. And that was very important because I was able to hone my skills in financial services and give me a specialty that I was able to use with a public relations agency where I served major financial services accounts. The second piece of the journey that was interesting is in the late 90s, my husband, who's an attorney, was asked by his law firm to head up their Warsaw, Poland office. And this occurred.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This occurred.
Sorry to interrupt, but like, whoa.
Yeah. I didn't know if we talked about that or not. This occurred at a time when Eastern Europe was just going gangbusters in terms of, Western economic growth. And we were over there for 3 years. And because I couldn't work, I ended up, these were my giving back years. So I headed up an expatriate organization, and it was a way of socially connecting the international community there of expats. But it's probably one of my proudest moments too, is that we actually created a new program for disadvantaged youth that were living in the equivalent of orphanages, and put together a computer and English program to really help give them viable careers, and ended up placing them in some of the major Western organizations that were based in Warsaw. So this really prepared me, the leadership that it took to launch this successfully really prepared me for entrepreneurism, I believe, so that when I came back and started my business, and this is now my 19th year.
Congratulations. Let's celebrate that.
Thank you. I was able to bring those experiences, and the PR experiences together.
I have to jump in here and say, I open this up. It's like every time we have a conversation, I'm always at the edge of my seat because I'm learning such interesting things from you.
Oh, thank you.
You blown me away with that one. I didn't know that piece. That is fascinating. And, ladies, gentlemen who are listening to her success story regularly, what we're seeing with the incredible people we interview, with what we're seeing regularly is people who actually take advantage, and they see opportunity. You're a working woman, you joined your husband, you couldn't work for 3 years, and you didn't sit back and, just sightsee, which would have been an amazing thing to do at that point in the world.
And we did a lot of that.
But you actually jumped in and really made an entire experience that made a difference. And that is where I see this, your input in what you do with your clients, the people you touch, is you consistently have a gift of seeing how you can jump in, lend that quote unquote helping hand, and make a huge impact in the long run. So hats off to you, girlfriend.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. It's, you and I have talked about this. It's all about, really honoring our relationships, our networks, our lives, and, supporting others. And it's, it's a very important way that I try to live. So thank you. And I know you do too. So thank you for that.
And you used an interesting word before. You said, in the journey. And
yes.
I strongly believe success is a journey. It is not a place we're going. It's not a destination. It's not Warsaw. It's not London. It's not California. It is the journey of it.
Yes.
And in the journey, we've all had, and I could only, just with the Warsaw story, there's what challenges can you, a simple example of what has been brought to mind, a challenge that you have seen that you were able to navigate and that has been so worthwhile from truly navigating it and not walking away from it?
That's a great question. And, I just read a piece in the Times of Evan Rachel Wood. And the very end of it, I thought was an amazing quote, which was, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I thought that was so important to all of you who are either, executives or business owners. And there are times when things will happen that may be out of your control. And in my case, I was blessed with some rather substantial accounts in the first 5 years of my business. And it just so happened that two of them, for reasons outside my control, the businesses were shifted or sunsetted, went away. And so it was a lesson for me. I still had other accounts, and I was able to successfully rebuild my business within that year. But it was also a lesson to me to always really balance my accounts within a whole, so that I can be sure that I can always, have a variety of accounts, but at the same time honor them and be, advocate for them in every way that I should be. So this kind of paid off, because later on, when we were all faced with a financial recession in 2008, 9, 10, my business was very solid, and I was able to maintain it and then put it in the position to grow substantially after that point. And I think it was because of the way that I was able to put together and maintain a portfolio of clients.
And there's a brilliance around that. You know, in being a business owner for 20 some odd years, whatever, I've seen the smart things and the unsmart things. And when you are working with a good amount of clients, you know, you want to build support around that, etc. But it has value, because if you, you know, there has been several times in my world that we've had, you know, economic issues or other issues.
Sure.
And if one client goes away, one or two clients, you're not at a financially vulnerable point. You're at a place that you can remain and retain. And what you're saying is you then use that as an ability to then launch, grow, and expand as, you know, everybody, the solidity came back in the financial market.
Very well put. I completely agree. So
beautiful, beautiful, guys. You know, I brought that out because if you're listening and you're building books of business, always remember that's an important piece. So you went on and then grew after the 08-09 experience. You went on and you grew.
Yes.
RomneyCom.
Yes.
What are some of, you know, in this journey,
yes,
what has worked well for you?
Yes. Well, you know, that's another really great question. And I think two things really, you know, one is your relationships, which I know you're very big on, and I completely agree.
Right.
And two is consistency. So, for example, you know, a longtime client, you'd mentioned the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. I actually, it had an auspicious beginning, because I met the then president on the eve of 9/11, and through another client I had at the time, and I ended up having a long and, you know, very satisfying relationship with this organization, which is a corporate membership organization that helps grow women's businesses. But also in the process, I developed a specialty, kind of a secret sauce specialty, if you will, over the last maybe 11, 12 years, where I really work with their top women to help them with their key messaging. And in the process, and, you know, I really help them talk about their vision and their competitive advantages. And in the process, I've realized that I can do more than financial services and national nonprofits, that I can actually work with people across industries. So from financial service to, say, you know, global supply chain companies or industrial engineers to satellite companies. So it's been really interesting and very challenging. And it's a wonderful way of growing my business and broadening my footprint.
And in the big picture of success, I know you are not just a businesswoman, you're a family woman.
Yes.
So will you share a little bit more? I mean, we are, I think the people who, we embrace success and we embrace the journey because there's more than just business every day. So share a little bit more about all your successes.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think as moms, there's always that. My children, like yours, my children may be a little older. They're out of college, and I have two older stepchildren who themselves have children. And one little guy I helped bring into the world. I was in the delivery room at the time, and you know that's right up there with the best experiences in life. So they're very much a part of my life, and the entire family is very close, and we're always there to support each other. But I would have to say that crucial to making all this work has been my husband of 30 years, who's been a fantastic partner and always very supportive. So, you know, in reality, there are many times when we all get stretched thin and it's difficult to serve everybody at the same time, and it's probably not really possible. So it is wonderful to have a supportive husband, partner, and family who can, we can all work together to make sure that each one of us can do what we need to do.
Well said. Well said. I'm getting so much information from you. I had no idea you were in the delivery room.
Oh yeah, that was wonderful.
Especially as moms, when you're not actually the person delivering, but you actually can experience from the other side, that had to be wild.
It was an honor. It was an honor.
Yeah. What a special, special thing to be part of.
Yes.
So we have family relationships, and I love that you honor them, and that I think we're both family women. We're both mothers. When Lynthia and I sat down over coffee and tea on a frigid cold day in New York City, we jumped in and we wanted to learn about each other. And although we're both business women, we wanted to know who the other woman was. And we shared stories about our kids, that I know she has this family and, supportive husband. And in building out your business, I always feel there's relationships that have made an impact. There's people that have made an impact. And I'm a huge believer in understanding the value of relationships. So would you share any relationships that you have seen made an impact on you, if there have been?
Yes, absolutely. Well, on the personal side, I mentioned my husband. On the business side, and this goes to your sweet spot, I've actually worked with a business coach for many years, even predating Poland. Her name's Sue Yellen, for Sue Yellen Coaching and Training. And so I met her when I was at the agency, and we kind of stayed together, so to speak, and have worked consistently. And what's really valuable to me, and why I see you, Ivy, very valuable to your clients, is that it brings a discipline and rigor, I think, to just about everything I do. It's really important to have another person that you trust be able to ask the tough questions of you, be able to expect you to, honor what you're supposed to be doing in terms of, reaching out, building business, serving clients, expanding your capabilities, and very important, visioning. So really thinking about, every year she asks me, what is your value for this year? And we spend a lot of time talking about that in, how I'm going to be showing up in the coming year. And it's amazingly powerful in terms of how you choose to be in the world and to be with people. And, so I think, when we talk about coaching, sometimes it can seem like kind of a practical thing to do. But I think also, as you so powerfully put it in your books and in your speeches, it's very deep. And it's very important in knowing yourself and being able to be motivated and to have the integrity in everything you do that's required of all of us in our work and our personal lives.
And I love that you're saying it, because life gets busy. Bottom line, life gets busy. And being a businesswoman, whether you're on the career path, whether you're building your business, I see it with my own daughter who works in a major corporation for the corporate responsibility department. And she's I see her juggling, getting time to see her girlfriends, wanting to spend some time with her boyfriend, spending time with family. She wants to hit the gym. Oh, they have, she's involved in this fundraiser in a cycle for life. And, life is busy. Period. Let's just keep it simple. Life can get busy, and it often is. And in seeing that and understanding it, I truly believe the best things for my business is I've had a coach for years, because I work in my business every day. I show up, I hit the gym, Monday morning, first thing, I'm at the gym. I am, first thing this morning, I was like packing for a trip I'm leaving for, business trip tomorrow, getting things organized, doing the emails. I had calls this morning. I have a team call, this, that, the other thing. And we get involved in our businesses.
Yes.
Having that support, a coach, a mentor, helps you keep involved in the outside planning, growth strategy, etc. of your companies.
No question.
Staying in touch with what's important to you at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely
So any tips or advice you have for our audience? You've been in business 19 years, you've raised your kids, you have some grandchildren, I believe, if I recall, you travel, you and your husband have an active life. What tips?
Sure.
How do you, what can we learn?
Well, this is coming from a PR person, so this is my lifeblood, but I do believe that your reputation is everything. And your relationships are everything. And the two are very much intertwined and aligned. So, my feeling is that, I think we've covered this a little bit, but as business owners or as executives, I think it's very important to bring integrity in everything you do. You show up for people, you do what you say you'll do, you honor your relationships. And this is very important to not just for clients, but really everybody that you interact with. So when you go to the networking meeting and you say you're going to follow up with people, you do. When someone asks you for a favor, if it's something that you feel you could help them with, you do. And and that all feeds into your integrity and your reputation. And so I think that is very important.
Integrity in business life, integrity is vital. It's one, I'm thrilled that you brought that word in here and you've used it several times. Building a life built on integrity. And it's building a life built on integrity. Building a life built on integrity is actually being grounded and having 2 feet planted on the ground and being true to who you are. We have words like authentic, which is great and important. Hunker down in integrity, as Lynthia is recommending, and you will flourish and you will show up. And when we say life, we are one. Business, personal. I don't. I might go to my office. I'm still sometimes, calling that doctor for whatever or doing this, and then at home we're doing some business. It is life, and integrity is a vital word. I love that. That is your go-to. And I have to say, and hats off to Lynthia, because we did meet and then she connected me with somebody. And, a few months later, I just did a presentation for, I think there was about 25 or so women bankers and CEOs in a room. And you listened, heard, and gave from the heart, which is one of the reasons that I happen to adore you. I wanted you on this show because it's a model for all of us to learn from.
And Ivy, you did an amazing job. The people really got so much out of your presentation, both the executives and the business owners and business people. So you showed up extraordinarily professionally and prepared. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. So Lynthia, our viewers, I'm sure, if there are viewers, they want to know more about you. So share how they could follow you, what tips you're putting out there. How do we continue to stay in your wisdom?
Well, I do have a website, RomneyCom.com, but you can also email me at RomneyCom@gmail.com, and I would be delighted to, have a conversation.
Awesome. So check out RomneyCom.com.
LinkedIn, excuse me. I'm sorry, LinkedIn as well. But there's a link from my website to my LinkedIn page.
Beautiful. Connect with Lynthia. She is, if you have not already figured this out, brilliant, knows her space, is in communications and publicity and in getting messages out there clearly. This is her strength. Thank you so much for taking time out of, I know is always a busy day for you.
Oh, thank you, Ivy. This has been a great fun.
And Stay tuned to her success story and see you on the next episode.